And Reverend Wallace. Haggard's a conservative, Wallace is the liberal. And to both of them, I put a very simple question, because as you know, I am a very simple man. What torture, Reverends? Neither reverend, neither one.
It is appropriate that Natan Sharansky will deliver our first Margaret Thatcher Center for Freedom lecture. After all, President Bush said if we want to understand that agenda, we would need to read Natan Sharansky's book, The Case for Democracy, which I was just very fortunate to get his signature on about 15 minutes ago. In that book, Natan, who's also with the co-author Ron Dermer, made a compelling case that the longing to be free courses through the vein of every human heart. And it quickens, particularly in the oppressed, when leaders like Ronald Reagan and George W. Bush make freedom central to foreign policy.
From personal story, at one period of time when I was in prison, and for more than a year I couldn't write letters to my family, I started a hunger strike. And well, it's a long story how it became known to the world about this hunger strike. Those who want to know more can read it in my first book, Fear No Evil, which can be bought through Amazon. Then my friends and my wife found out that on the Yom Kippur Day, a very important day in Jewish tradition, I'm beginning hunger strike. And it's not restricted by any time limit. As long as they will not permit me to write letters, I will not stop it. What, of course, could mean that it can finish very tragically. And she immediately decided to have a lot of action in America and in Europe. And in Europe, she said the most important thing is to start from Britain. So the story says that at 2 o'clock at night, the personal secretary of Margaret Thatcher received a telephone call from my wife, and she told that because of a very serious situation with her husband, tomorrow she's coming to London and she wants to see Margaret Thatcher. It was 2 o'clock at night, and he became real upset with this telephone call, and he started shouting on her and said, "How you dare to call? Don't you understand why you're calling? Don't you understand what time you're calling? You will think that we have nothing to do but to organize meetings between you and Margaret Thatcher in order that the heads, the leaders of the world, are coordinating it some months in advance. And you want to get to this meeting tomorrow?" And he shouted and shouted and shouted, and my wife, who in her private life is very shy, but here she was not shy at all. She told him, "Minister Advisor, you're not Margaret Thatcher. You cannot decide for her. You're only her secretary. And maybe the Almighty put you on this position for one thing, in order to organize this meeting, because the future of the world depends on this meeting.